Hello and welcome back to Healthy Spouse, Healthy House. My name is Tony and my channel focuses on health, wellness, and relationships. I believe that there are 15 different areas of health that any one person can work on at any point in time in their lives. So each week I ask you to join me as I introduce, define, and discuss each one of those areas of health. And then in the end, we make plans and we make goals so that we can become healthier in those areas. Now, guys, welcome back. Y'all, about a couple of weeks ago, I started the conversation on cultural health, right? But then last week, I kind of jumped off that train a little bit, and then we talked about mental health, and we did a mental health check-in because I really wanted to know how y'all were doing. I knew how I was doing, and I was struggling a little bit. I was struggling, y'all, a little bit. I just had a lot going on and stuff, and so I was like, yeah, I knew how I was feeling. I was like, I was wondering how y'all were feeling. I mean, so that's what that was. So anyway, I'm back on that cultural health train, and I wanted to give you kind of like a story time in a way, but give you a bit more information, but story time on how I came about cultural health and how how he had shown me cultural health and how it was important. So anyway, if you've listened to or watched any of my previous videos, especially my first one, then you hear my testimony and you hear what that back in 2014 I was diagnosed with postpartum depression and anxiety, and it was a very traumatic time in my life. I was just going through a lot, and I remember just crying out to God for help and him revealing to me that I was unhealthy. And, and I was like, unhealthy. I was like, okay, and in the ways that I understood what health was, were the ways that I started to just become proactive in trying to get my life back healthy. And so God then started to reveal to me different ways in which I was unhealthy. And so, but when he first told me that I was unhealthy, I was like, I was thinking in the physical sense. And I was like, okay, well, let me start to eat better and get more exercise and stuff. And so, physical health was one of the first areas of health that God had revealed to me. And so that started back in 2014. And, after physical health or whatever was first, I can't really remember which one was absolutely first. I think it was physical health. So, here comes mental health and emotional health and then spiritual health and just, so every so often he would reveal a way in which I was unhealthy. So he would reveal an area of health to me every so often. And so that started in 2014, y'all. My journey started in 2014. I didn't get, or he didn't give me cultural health until 2020. And y'all already know like what our world was going through at this point in time. And so, I mean, we were not only going through a pandemic with a disease that we had never experienced on this level before. And not only are we dealing with that, but now because of the disease, we are going through, we have stay-at-home orders, and we are, we were just going through so much. And so during that time, y'all, I had a lot of time where not only were we dealing with things outside of the home, but we were dealing things within our homes, and then we were dealing with things within ourselves. And so as we're dealing with these things of all of these things, and me watching things on TV, and I'm trying to be vague about it, and seeing these things come about and seeing things happen to people that are from my same culture or from my same race, I am watching these things and I'm feeling this great sense of sadness. And I'm asking God, I'm like, well, I'm crying out to God because I'm like, you think about not only you, but you think about your children, you think about, your family members, your friends, people, your church family members. You think about everybody who share that same culture or the same race, and you're like, you don't want that for them, especially for the generations to come. You don't want that for them. You want the world to be different. And so with that kind of discovery, God had given me cultural health, and he had told me about just being healthy in that sense, where not only are we not only do we or should we have a deep awareness of our personal culture and our life experiences and understandings and how they influence our value systems and our worldview and practices, that we also need to recognize and respect the culture and the life experiences of others, and intentionally taking the time to empathize with and understand and respect others' perspectives. Because guys, we are not all the same. We are not all the same. We are different. God made us different on purpose, and I'm gonna take it back to when we were little, right? And we read the story of the Tower of Babel when we were younger, and we see that God just confused the languages and he confused the people as they were building the tower. And even that just like helps me to understand that this was done on purpose for there to be different cultures and different types of people and different people from different places with different points of views and different perspectives. And and I love the creation that God has created. I love us. I love us as a people. But again, we are all different with different cultures. And the word culture, to me, and I did define it in a previous video, but I'll define it again. Culture covers a range of things that, occurs within a society or a group of people, like the social behavior or social norms, the belief systems, the institutions, the customs and capabilities and habits and stuff, right? So culture includes all of those things, and it can include race. But culture is also a way of life for a group of people. So although culture often includes race, and honestly, this is mostly because I think culture often includes race because people tend to connect and hang out with or affiliate with those of the same race. I mean, that's just something that happens. The presence of culture is not always specific to race. Culture has a lot to do with where you are, just as much as it does with who you are, right? Because even though, as you can tell, I am Black. But me being Black in America, and I grew up in America, the culture of America would be different from the culture of a Black person, let's say, who grew up in a country in Africa, or who grew up in who grew up in Jamaica, or who grew up in Canada, or who grew up in Asia or in Europe, or our cultures are going to be different, even though our race is the same, if you get what I'm saying. And so culture is such a broad thing, guys, because even a person like me who lives on the East Coast in the DMV area, my culture is going to be different from someone who lives in in the South or the Deep South, or even on the West Coast, or up further north, or the Midwest. My culture is going to be different from their culture, even though we're the same race, right? So, I said all of that to say that as we have, again, our deep awareness of our personal culture, we have to have respect for other people who are of a different culture, right? And that is my prayer. That is my prayer for all of us, because it's very important for us to be culturally healthy. It's very important for us to take a sense of pride in who we are and where we're from, and also at the same time having respect for those who are different, who think differently, who come from different places. I hope that this video kind of gives you an idea of where I'm coming from, and kind of open things up a little bit and give you a bit of information, and so that you can go on and you can do your own research on cultural health and what it means to be culturally healthy, because I do believe that it's very important, and it's a very important thing to have during these times. So also, I want to know, what can you do, or what are you doing to improve your cultural health, or what are you doing to improve any other area of health? So that is all I have for y'all today, but y'all come back next week, and we're gonna talk about another area of health that came actually at the same time that this one came. So may God bless us on this journey, and I'll see y'all in the next one. All right, bye.